Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to make a little pilgrim. The colours we're going to need are white, brown, skin tone, black and silver, and you're going to need 2 of the little mini pony beads in black. They're a size 4mm by 7mm. Now the count for bands: 4 silver, 42 white, 108 approximately of black, 16 brown and 21 skin tone. We're going to be starting with our loom in the offset configuration, the staggered configuration. You're going to have columns 1 and 3 slightly lower than column 2. You're going to have the open part of the peg facing towards you, or if you have an arrow, it's the arrow facing towards you. And we're going to be double banding, and we're going to start by placing our bands at the top here. Now before I was placing them across like this. I'm going to start by placing them like this so that it has more of a cone shape top. So while this one has sort of a flat top, we're doing it slightly different. I'm going to place 2 from here to here. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Now we're going to take 2 bands on your hook, black, wrap once and twice, and you're going to slide onto 2 bands. Like that. Spread them out so that they're nice and even, and you're just going to place one side on your loom like this, sticking out to the side. And do the same for the other side. This is going to be the brim of the hat. Wrap once and twice, slide onto another pair, pretty it up so that it's even, and again place just there, and keep these loops to the side. Now we're doing the back of the hairstyle, so brown bands, dark brown bands. And this is a crafty ladybug technique. I absolutely love it, and I envisage doing it for all of my figures. So if you haven't checked out her channel, her YouTube channel, you really should. She's got some marvellous designs up there, well worth looking at and making. I'm going to do another pair from here to here for the back of the neck, and then 2 single ones. I'm going to stretch 1 single one from here to here in the shape of a triangle, and I'm making sure that I push everything down. My last brown band is going to go across here in the shape of a triangle, like that. I'm going to use 1 silver band on my hook, twist it once, and I'm going to place that on this center second peg, like that. And then I'm going to use 4 white bands. The first one on my hook and twist, and that's going here, and there's going to be another one on top of it, like that. Again, push things down. And I'm going to use a single black band, and I'm going to stretch it, do a figure 8, loop it on itself, and that is going to go under where I have those bands looped as a crossover band, like that. I'm going to use a single white band, wrap it around my hook once and twice, and I'm going to place that here as my end cap. The reason I'm using white is he wears a white collar, so we're not really doing a neck, we're going to do a white collar. Dig down past those the white band and hold that white band in place so it doesn't fly off, and you're grabbing the 2 brown bands and looping up, and then the 2 top brown bands loop to their side, so you're looping to the corresponding side. You're going to loop these 2 middle ones up like that, and then these brown ones on the side get looped up as well. Do not loop the black bands up just yet, push everything down. Now we're going to place the skin tone for the face. So 2 skin tone in the center, so it's the 3rd peg to the 4th, and on either side as well. From the center to the right. Now I can see this is a bit twisted. I'm going to just run my hook around it to untwist. I'm going to take a single and I'm going to stretch it between these 3 pegs as a crossover band. Then for the eyes, I'm going to take a single, I'm going to twist it 3 times. So once, twice and 3 times, and I'm going to place that here on these 2 pegs, and that will stop the eyes from falling to the back of my face. Now I'm using black beads. You don't have to. You can use black bands. 1 band on your hook, wrap once, twice and 3 times, is the same as a single black bead. So you do it twice. Once, twice, 3 times. And when I say that I'm sliding my beads onto a single skin tone band, you slide your bands onto a single skin tone band, and we end up with a very similar result. Alright, so let's stretch these across like that. Now you're going to make sure that your eyes are either side of this center peg, and then put your hook down and grab the top band, the top part of the band, and put it above this peg so that it acts as a crossover band. I'm going to use 2 white bands for his neck. As I mentioned, he's wearing a collar. And now what I'm going to do, you have these 2 white bands we just placed, but there's the white end cap underneath here. You're going to put your hook through the end cap and you're going to pull it up and over that pair of white bands, and that locks in the skin, the face, to the back of the hair. So that's a very important part. Now we're moving to white bands, and we're doing his shoulders. Again, we are still double banding. Now I'm going to do a pair from the center to the right and a pair from the center to the left, like that. I'm going to put a pair of black bands here, but then I'm going to put a white end cap right here. Take my hook once and twice, and I'm going to pop that right here. Okay, now we're going to take black bands from this point and move down our loom, and we're going to stop with the black bands just 1 peg before the end, and those last ones will be a pair of white. Like that. And let's do the same on the other side. And a pair of white. Down the center we've got our first black. We need another 3 pair. So here's 1 pair, 2 pair, and here's our final pair there. We're going to do a pair from the center to the right and from the center to the left. We're going to put an end cap here, a single black band, wrap once and twice, and just pop that on the end. We're going to do crossover bands, single bands that you're going to stretch to form a triangle over those 3 pegs. Oops. And you're going to do one here as well, like that. And then we're going to do his arms. So a single skin tone, wrap it once and twice, slide it onto a pair, and then you're going to do 3 pair of black, 1, 2, 3, and a pair of white. It's going to sit here on his shoulder like that. Do the same again, single skin tone, wrap once and twice, pair of skin tone and slide on, 3 pair of black, 1, 2, 3, pair of white, I'm going to sit this side. At this point we're going to put a silver band right here on the center. So take a silver band and sort of twist it around your hook once. That's going to go sitting here on the center. These 2 sides, you're going to take 2 black bands, wrap around your hook once and twice, and you will slide onto a pair of black bands. Pretty it up, make sure that it's nice and even, and just like we did with the hat, we're just going to put one side there. Alright, so just leave the other bit sticking out. Do the same the other side, 2 black bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 black bands, and again we leave the other side sitting out like this. Shoes, 2 black bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 black bands, spread them out so they're even, do not reclaim. You're going to take another 2 black bands, wrap once and twice, and now reclaim the end like that. You're going to slide these onto a pair of black bands. I do the first pair first and then I do the wrapped bands after. Now do not reclaim. What we're going to do next is take a silver band, wrap it once and twice, and then take these 2 and pop them back like that. And then we're using a pair of white, and we'll slide these on like this. Reclaim. This is the bit where the foot angles, not the silver. The silver is supposed to represent a buckle, and you're going to put this on the end of his foot just here like that. Let's do the same for the other side. So 2 black bands, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 black bands, spread them out so that they're even, 2 black bands, wrap once and twice. Now you can reclaim. We'll slide onto 2 black bands, don't reclaim. You can take your silver, wrap once and twice. Now we'll put that back on like that. 2 white bands. Take those first 2 black bands over, the silver, the other 2 black bands, reclaim and angle the foot, and that will sit this side. And if you feel that, I don't feel that that's particularly nice, I'm going to put my hook through and I just twirl that around so that it evens up a bit. I think that looks a bit better. There we go. I'm happier with that. Alright, so what we're going to do next is start with our looping process. I'm going to remove these bands to the side here. Dig down, you're going to find these 2 white bottom bands and loop them up. And the same on the other side. Now, the Pilgrims used to have these puffy trousers. I'm going to loop this up and this one up. I'm going to loop these side ones, so dig down past the end cap and grab the 2 top black bands, loop one side, then do the same on the other side, loop that side, and I'm going to loop the center once and twice. Now, we have not looped these up. I'm going to go down past these white bands. I'm going to grab 2 black bands and I'm going to pull them through and I'm going to reclaim like that. I'm going to take another 2 black bands and pull them through like this. And I'm going to put the 2 that I'm holding with my fingers, which are at the back side, on this peg here. And I'm going to hold these other 2 out to the side with my fingers. I'm going to loop up these and I'm going to replace these onto the peg like that. This is to make him have puffy pants. I'm going to dig down, I'm going to lock these into place by pulling this up here. At this point I want to put these 2 loops on this peg. I'm going to put my hook through and I'm going to place them on this peg here, and to lock those into place I'm going to dig down and find those bottom 2 bands and loop up. So all of this is safe now. Let's do the same on this side. So we need 2 black bands. We're going to come down past these white bands and pull our black bands through like that. Take another 2 black bands, pull them through, and you're going to put this one that you're holding with your fingers on this peg. The other one you're going to hold out to the side and you're going to loop that band up. Take this back onto your hook and replace on here. We need to dig down and find the black bands and loop those up. That's secured this, but we need to put this in place. Put your hook through those 2 loops and place them on the peg, and then we will loop this next one up here, and now we have secured that in place. Now we have this silver band here. You have the 2 top bands and the 2 bottom black bands. You're going to go under the bottom 2 black bands and the 2 top black bands, grab the silver band and pull them forward, and if you only get one, go back to do the other. There it is. And now we can loop that up and that locks that into place, so that's safe. Loop this black one up. Now we're going to have to do a bit of fancy footwork for the arms, but first let's pull these either side. So you're digging down past the white end cap to grab the 2 top white bands and drag those to their corresponding side. Alright, like that. Now what we're going to do is we want to take this arm off like that. I'm going to put it on another hook. You can use a pencil, a chopstick, a toothpick, whatever you have. Okay, I'm going to take 2 white bands and I'm going to loop. I'm going to put my hook. What I want to do, I want to go through all of these bands that are on here except these last 2. Okay, so I'm going to push my hook down that peg, but I'm going to poke it out just without including those last 2. I'm going to grab my 2 white bands and I'm going to drag them back through that peg. I'm going to try and twist my hook so I don't snag those bands. So there we go, like that. And I'm going to put the other side back on. I've reclaimed the end. I'm going to take another 2. I'm going to slide those through here like that. Okay, so I have these little chain on here. The 2 that are closest to the end I'm going to place on the peg. I'm still keeping these top 2 over here. What I need to do now is replace my arm. So I have mine on a holding hook, but you can put your toothpick here to hold that set of bands if you want. I'm going to replace my arm like that. I'm going to loop up these 2 bottom white bands. Now make sure that you're just getting the bottom white bands, loop those up, and then these two that we had on our holding hook can get looped in as well, and we're going to lock them into place. Okay, we need to lock these into place. Now, before I lock these into place, and this is a big problem, as you can see we haven't looped the center, so I'm going to loop this up like that and up here, and then I'm going to put that on here, otherwise the whole center will fall apart. Alright, now we've got to do the same on the other side. Sorry, I'm having a little brain spasm there. Take the arm off, keep it on a holding hook, toothpick, whatever you have. We're going to use 2 white bands. Again, you're coming through all of these bands, just not these 2. Push your hook through, make sure you come through. Oops, let me do it this way so I can at least see what I'm doing. So you're pushing your hook in and making sure you don't capture these 2. Grab your 2 white bands and you're going to drag them back through and reclaim. You're going to use your next 2 white bands and drag them through. Okay, place those first, the 2 that you're holding with your fingers, on. Alright, then we're going to place our arm back on. Your arm is on a holding hook. Place your arm back on. You're going to dig down and find those 2 bottom white bands and loop up, and then the side that's on your holding hook you're going to loop up, and we're going to dig down and find those 2 white bands and bring those up to the top like that. It's a little bit fiddly, but there we go. Dig down, find the 2 white bands and bring them up. We're doing the side of the face, so you need the top 2 skin tone, loop to the corresponding side. The next skin tone, corresponding side, and up. Now we're going to go for the 2 skin tone and loop up, push things down, and push things down. I'm going to take these 2 loops that were sitting there doing nothing and place them on our pegs for either side. I have to tell you, my daughter was in hysterics this morning. I read somebody had left a message, and I think they were probably trying to offend me, but we ended up laughing instead, saying that they disliked my YouTube channel and that I sounded like a llama. Well, Izzy just thought this was the funniest thing. She's going, "Mummy, you don't sound like a llama. Llamas sound like this." And she's making this strange noise, saying that this is how a llama sounds. We were dying laughing. It was so funny. So to the chap that was trying to insult me, thank you so much for the giggles this morning. It was very funny. Loop up. We're going to find the 2 bottom black bands at the bottom here and loop up, and the 2 bottom ones here and loop up. Now, before we loop this one up, we've got to flip the white bands over for the head, for the hat. Take this crossover band off. Alright, we're just going to rest it there. Put your bands here. We're going to dig down past these 2 bottom and find the white bands and drag them to the back of the peg and over, and then twirl them around so that they unravel. You now have to lift those 2 top black bands up and replace your crossover band back, and then put those top ones back again. Alright, we're going to do the same the other side. Lift, we've looped this already, so lift this up, take the crossover band off, replace those, dig down, and you're going to find the 2 white bands that we have here, around to the back side of the peg and pull forward. Twiddle it around so that it's even. Go under the top 2 bands again. You're going to drag that crossover band back and then replace those bands. We need to do the same here, but thankfully, because this is in the center, you don't need to take the crossover band off. You just pull it forward like that. Alright, we're going to do the sides. 1, 2, and the center. We're going, ooh, broken band. Let's fix that quickly. We don't need that to happen, do we? I don't like broken bands very much, but they're nothing to panic about. So take that one off. I'm going to lift this one up, and all you have to do is just backspace. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to undo this. And there's our little black band here. We're going to give it a partner. Here we are, chum. Now, it's under all of these. Alright, so what I need to do, I'm going to lift my crossover band over. I'm going to go under those 2 pegs that I have looped already and pop that band on my hook, drag it back through like this. I'm going to loop that up. Now, first of all, it has to be under there, so let's take this off again. You have to think about where it needs to go. I'm going to pop it over. There we go, like that. All fixed. Let's grab these side ones again. Making sure that we just grab the side bands and not the crossover band as well. Isn't that nice that it broke just before we had to take it off the loom? It would have been sad if we'd taken it off the loom and it had broken. That's a trickier fix. Grab your 2 black bands. Now the reason I take 2 to tie off, it's an insurance policy, so that if one breaks, it's still tied with the other one. I use the back of a metal hook to help me ease things off my looms. I just find that when you've done all this work, the last thing you want to do is take something off the loom by dragging it and yanking it off the loom and have your bands break. So especially when you've got more than 2 bands on any given peg, you just need to be a little bit delicate. Let's hope we don't have any broken bands. And move my loom out the way. I'm just going to stretch him into shape. So we've got these little puffy trousers here, his little shoes with his little silver buckles on, and this is to depict that he's wearing a jacket, and there's the belt in the middle. Now it looks like he's cheerleading, going yippee, hooray, doesn't it? What we need to do, if you have a look, you've got these 2 bands either side, but then here you have these other 4 bands. There's 4 little loops, okay, just in the middle. You're going to lift that up, you're going to put your hook through it, and you're going to place his arm through like that, and that will mean that his arm will come down and it just looks a little better. Let's do the same on the other side. So here's the 2 either side, and here's the 4. Make sure I get all 4. There we go. Splay it open and pop his arm through like that. There we are. So that forms more of his shoulders. Stretch him into shape. And these tie-off bands at the back, I'm just going to poke my hook through and grab them and hide them discreetly in the I'm going to go under the silver band so that they're hidden and they don't obscure that, because we don't want that. That's part of what he looks like. Now, so see how I have these two loops, but there's a little gap between his skin and his hair, so I'm going to poke my hook through and drag them to the back of his head like that, and now you can't see them. So there is our little Pilgrim. I really hope you enjoy making him. Take care. Bye bye.